Hi, Sue.
Hello,
Hello, how are you?
good are you?
Good. We just had the introduction and talked about Soocha Tea, and then I also introduced like how I got to know about Soocha Tea. Back
Thank you.
in the time, I was curious about like what are the vendors that sell Korean tea outside of Korea, and I
Okay.
had a list of the vendors in my blog post. That's how I found out about Soocha Tea. Like I was
Thank
what are some current vendors outside of Korea? And well, you were the one of few vendors that I could search on Google. So today, I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you for joining in.
thank you for organizing this beautiful festival. And yeah, I'm sure that it required a lot of work to be done. And
Yeah,
yeah, thank you for hosting this beautiful festival on behalf of Korea and Korean tea culture. I'm so happy to be part of this festival. Thank you for having me today.
thank you. My pleasure. So for other people as well to get to know more about what you do and about Suchati's brand, I would like to ask some questions. So the first one, like I'm curious, like how you started this brand, like what was your journey, like what made you to sell Korean teas?
Um, After I moved to Canada, when I got married to my husband, I really wanted to learn something as a hobby. And I love tea. And then tea has been around me all my life. And I thought that um, learning more about tea must be so much fun too. So I started tea sommelier courses at Georgia Brown College in Toronto, and then I became a certified tea sommelier from Tea Association of Canada. And since then, I found out that like it was a little shocking and somewhat sad to find out that not many people actually know about Korean tea.
Yeah.
And whenever I ask them what kind of Korean tea they've tried in their life, and then most of them say they're like, "Oh, I tried roasted barley tea, which is boricha in Korea,
Yeah.
or like 옥수수차, roasted corn tea." And I felt a strong responsibility for introducing real good tea, especially from the Camellia sinensis tea plant.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I've been introducing Korean tea and then also like Korean culture and Korean tea accessories. And I've been also speaking at tea festivals. And since the pandemic, I have been also offering online workshop where you can taste Korean tea and learn about tea. And then, yeah, that's my journey so far. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
exciting. Thank
yes.
goodness. Yeah, thanks to you, like we have at least a vendor that other people can order Korean teas in
Thank you.
Canada and United States.
Yeah, thank
Um,
you.
but then personally, how did you get into tea?
I was born in Korea, and tea has been always around me in my life. And like
Lucky
whenever
you.
I, pardon, sorry.
Lucky you. I was in
Yeah,
Korea, like I wasn't really interested in tea when I was in Korea.
really?
Yeah.
You know what? So whenever I look at my photo album when I was little, when I was young, even when I had birthday parties or my sisters or brothers' birthday parties, I could see on the table there's teacup and tea thing. So,
Oh,
but
that's so cool.
yeah, that's when I was too little, so I technically don't remember those time. But the first wow moment I remember now about tea in my life was when my father asked me if I would like to join his tea time, and then of course I
Mm.
said, and then he made a cup of tea in a Korean celadon cup. So like, oh, I'm drinking parucha now, but it looks like this, but it was celadon cup. I
Oh,
literally remember like it has this kind of lead.
yeah.
So he made a cup of tea for me, and then I was like, "Wow, what is this? What is this tea? It is so delicious." And then
Yeah.
he said, "Oh, it is called sejak." So that is the first tea like wow moment I remember now. And
Yeah.
then there was I think that when I was an elementary school student, and after that. when I went to when I was a middle school student. I don't know your generation. I think you are much younger than me, but my generation had to take some kind of school activities about Korean culture.
Oh,
So,
really?
but yes, so it was like my not university, middle school had a kind of culture center inside of school. And
Okay.
then we had school activities, and then other students from other schools also visited my school to take that kind of cultural activities. And I used to learn about, how to make kimchi, how to properly wear hanbok, or
Oh,
what kind of attitude you have to show with hanbok on. And that also include Korean tea ceremony tare. So
oh, wow.
when I was like 14 years old, it was my first time to learn about tare. And then, yeah, just like you said, I feel like I was very, very lucky to have that kind of experience in my life when I was very little.
Yeah.
And then luckily my father has been my father used to go on a business trip very often, and then like personal trip with my mom all around the world too. So
Wow.
they used to bring tea from like different countries, and then they used to get a lot of tea gift from their colleagues or co-workers or business partners or like tea friends. So I really was lucky to try different teas from different tea growing countries.
Were
And
your parents like tea lovers? Your parents sound like tea drinkers, tea enthusiasts as well.
but it like, I think that my generation, my parents' generation drank maybe more tea than my generation. So
Oh,
they were used to drinking tea. But like they also drink coffee and other beverages. But like when I was young, um because in Korea kids don't drink coffee when you're young, right?
yeah.
So like including herbal teas and tea was always in my home. So yeah, we drank a lot of tea too. and
But-
and
Oh, go ahead.
many friends, my friends also know that I love tea. So whenever they come back from their studying or trips from overseas country, they also bring a lot of tea gift for me. Yeah, I'm so lucky to have those friends.
Yes.
Yeah, and then so even without visiting those countries, I could have many different chance to try different types of tea. And of course, when I also went other countries, I also always try tea houses or different tea. And yeah, tea has been around me all the time. And even um, like while I'm doing this business and
Yeah.
in Canada, my friend in Korea still um, give me tea gift whenever they see new teas, and then
Yeah.
also might be interested in tasting them. And so when I visit Korea, they always like, oh, this is for you. Yeah. So
Oh, that's so
I've been
cool.
so super lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like the universe has prepared you to be like a tea person. Yeah, like
Oh,
that environment is very important too. Like it totally makes a difference. I mean, anyone can enjoy tea, but like it's different because the time you spend with tea, living with tea, that certainly counts. So
mhm.
it's all like with your parents, like your environment, your school. It's like you were living with tea all along until
Yeah.
now, until
I
today.
always feel like I'm privileged. I'm so lucky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a nice way to put it. Being privileged.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
so yeah, one of my tea friends who also own a Japanese tea company in Toronto also shared the same thing. So her
Yeah,
father went on a business trip a lot, and then he used to bring a lot of tea from different country. And like I told her that, oh, it's the same. Like that's
yeah.
what happened in my life when I was little too. Yeah. So yeah, we think that we are so lucky to have family members who could give us many different chance about tea.
Yeah. For people who are currently watching this interview and you feel like you are less privileged, it's okay. We are watching you part and we are sharing the good energy from her.
Yes.
Yes.
Tea energy.
And there
Yes.
are many tea communities where tea people are very generous sharing information, sharing
Yeah.
tea. So
Mm.
it's okay. Like I
Yeah,
didn't grow up with the tea, but I'm still tea loving person. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Sure, like timing doesn't matter. If you are enjoying tea, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nowadays, which tea do you enjoy the most? Which tea are you drinking nowadays?
Like Ujan is my all-time favorite. So
Oh, really?
my morning tea is always Ujan. Like the first tea of the day is always Ujan because it's so refreshing, and
Yeah.
especially early when Ujan just come out in early spring, it's the best timing, right, to try
Mhm.
that freshest Ujan.
Yeah.
So like from early spring, summer, fall, my morning tea is always Ujan. But you know,
Mhm.
발효차 is such a unique tea to Korea, and then that is
Yeah.
one of our best sellers. And it's always good any time of the day, any time of the year, both hot and cold. So yeah, 발효차 is very enjoyable too. I love the tea too.
Nice. From
What
your
about
website,
you, Sue?
udon as well, but like I really like it's winter in Melbourne, so I
Oh yeah.
really enjoy 청태전. 청태전
Ah,
is Korean fermented tea that's like mellow and malty, and it has very unique history and long history as well. And yeah,
good,
청태전.
good. Good to
I
hear
think
that.
it's like when someone asks me like if there's one Korean tea you recommend, I usually almost always say 청태전.
That's good. Yeah, 청태전 is such a good tea too. Yeah.
Do you also carry 청태전 in your shop as well?
Not yet, but it is in my list of like future teas I'm going to release. But yeah, I already have a long list of what kind of tea I'm going to release this year, next year, you know, the year
Yeah.
after. So at some point, maybe,
Oh, that's
yeah,
exciting.
yeah, you can get updates from our Instagram or Facebook or like our website or email newsletter if we release the tea.
Yeah, Sue from Soocha Tea is active on Instagram. And I also saw from your website, like on the bottom, like you share recipes and different how to enjoy tea with like when people cook or when people drink. Do you also have like a udon recipe that you recommend?
Oh yeah, I have been introducing many different recipes for food, drinks, and dessert you can make with Korean tea, and um, because I really wanted to introduce those recipes because instead of just stopping at drinking only tea infusion, you
Yeah,
can enjoy Korean tea to the fullest in many different ways, right?
that's true.
So the easiest way you can enjoy the tea, like not stopping at just drinking tea infusion, is that you can add the steeped ujan leaves or like sejak is also great. So ujan or sejak leaves into your food, such as rice or noodles or stir fries and or
Yeah,
salad. It's a great, delicious addition, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
so that's the easiest way, but you can eat the leaves.
from I recently watched a documentary that features a tea in Hadong, and then tea farmers use 발효차 leaves and then
Mm.
make all kinds of Korean pancake like 녹차전, 발효차전, and they also made 장아찌 with it.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. One of my recipe I recommended, actually, it's not on our website, but I have been introducing the recipe in my workshop, like online workshop, that you can make tea pickles or tea salt,
yeah.
you know. Yeah. So,
And
yeah,
when I
so there
saw
are
that,
many different ways you can enjoy tea, not only
true.
just drinking tea. Yeah. So you can check out our website, and then under the Soocha Tea recipes, you can see different recipes I've been introducing.
Nice. Yum. I mean, it's getting closer to lunchtime, so like I'm like, oh, maybe I can have. During the festival, we have a Korean bibimbap with green tea leaves.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that, and then yeah, I'm really glad to see you including that for lunch
Yeah.
break. Yeah, that's such a great idea.
And for
Thank you.
people who need specific recipe, can go to Suchati website.
Yeah, thank you.
For your work, what's the most satisfying thing that you get?
Oh, there are so many satisfactions, and like there are so many touching moments that like melts my heart.
Mhm.
And the biggest one is always tea loving people and their great reaction and feedback about Korean tea and their lovely spirit. So many people, many customer contact me by email, or they sometimes leave a note in their orders saying that, oh, it's my first time to try Korean tea. I'm so excited. And then
Oh,
when they receive and taste the Korean teas, they also get back to me and say that like, so I fell in love with Korean tea, and this became my new favorite. Oh, I share your tea with your with my son, daughters, my parents and grandparents. They all fell in love with your tea. So they sometimes purchase more to send a gift to their tea loving friends and family. And then they also get back to me, say that like, oh,
oh,
I got this tea gift. And then, I really love your tea. And then, yeah, they like, and then they started getting interested in Korean culture, like in
mhm.
general too. Yeah, so it is very rewarding and touching. And also, like Korean customers in Canada or in the States also sometimes send me emails and say that they have been drinking tea all their life and they know about tea, but so literally this is the best tea I've ever had in my life. And then that really
Wow.
means a lot to me. And then yeah, and they say like, where do you source your tea? How do you how could you find this best tea? And then like I really always feel touched by their like the interaction I share with my customers. And I have been in I also have been supporting Korean senior artist in Toronto who has very long experience in Korean sewing and have very great skills to make handmade tea accessories.
Mhm.
But because they are senior and then they don't have any platform to sell and introduce their artwork, so I started carrying and introducing their handmade tea accessories on my website, and then all
Oh, wow.
proceed go toward the senior artist.
That's
And
how Korean tea accessories appeared on your website.
yeah.
Oh, that's so meaningful. That adds more
Thank you.
value to it.
Yes, yes, yeah. So um like when my customer order the tea handmade tea accessories, and when they send gift for Christmas or Thanksgiving or their family's birthday, they also send me email like, hello, I'm this person, I got this gift from this person. And
Oh,
so Korean sewing culture is so impressive. This is my first time to see how beautiful Korean sewing is. And then
yeah.
it really means a lot to me. And then there is great support for Korean senior artists here too. So I'm going
Mm.
to keep introducing more and more handmade accessories too. So yeah, that is another satisfaction. And like since the pandemic started, all the like on-site tea festival and tea events have been canceled, right?
Yeah,
So many people, like especially tea company owners, really love to attend those festivals.
mhm.
Majorly, it's because they can make a lot of sale from there. But at the same time, tea company owners also love meeting tea loving customers and new
True.
people too, and then talk about their tea, answering their questions. So I have been missing, and my friends also have been missing those events.
Yeah.
So I thought that I have to do something. So I have been hosting a monthly online tea TikTok event called Soocha Tea and Friends. And then I have been inviting my tea friends who are tea company owners, a tea blogger, or Kinski artist, and like a tea book author.
Yeah.
And we also have been fundraising money for different charities. And then like people, tea loving people really have lovely spirit. You know that.
Yeah, I
So
totally agree.
they I'm so appreciate their participation and donation, and then they share their beautiful and warm thoughts,
Yeah.
then really means a lot. Because while we are enjoying this kind of online festival, there are many people out there who are suffering from illness, infections, or family issues or financial issues. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad to help them in some ways, even though it might not a big contribution, but I'm so happy to do that with my tea loving friends all together in
Yeah.
Toronto.
How about when was there a time that you felt frustrated and that you want to stop? Like, did you have had that moment? Did you have that moment? If there was,
Um,
how did you overcome it?
I think it might be almost the same as other tea companies, especially since the pandemic. So
Yeah.
every tea festivals and tea events have been canceled.
Yeah.
But luckily, many people turn to online shopping.
Yeah.
So um, our online sale has been dramatically increased, and then I cannot complain about this situation.
Yeah.
And also from online festival like this, like great place where you can meet tea loving people.
Yeah.
And there have been a lot of online tea workshop and tea events or other lecture presentation.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has been always lovely to be connected to tea lovers. And um, another frustration I have had, especially since the pandemic, is that shipping delays. So
Oh.
I think it's almost the same. I think it's the same in every different industry, I think, because especially from Korea, the shipments usually arrive in like 5 to 7 days, very quick.
Yep.
But since the pandemic started, it used to take like a month or 2 months sometimes. But luckily, it has gone back to normal. So now
Yeah.
we don't have any shipping issues. But within Canada and in the States, sometimes there are shipping delays. So
Yeah.
it's beyond my ability because I cannot control because it depends on the postal service, right? But when they have some kind of strict safety measures, like there are still sometimes shipping delays, but tea loving customers always generous and they're patient. So
Yeah.
I always keep my eye on the tracking histories, and then when I see some shipping delays, I contact each customer and, oh, sorry for the inconvenience, but
Yeah.
hope that you can get it as soon as possible. And then they always say that, so it's not your fault, it happens everywhere, so I
Oh.
can wait. Yeah, I still have some tea, so I can wait drinking tea. No worries. And then like that kind of generous, beautiful mind always melt my heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, thanks
And
for sharing.
yeah, and, no, my pleasure. And like other than that, I don't recall any frustration because maybe it was nothing major,
Yeah.
maybe when it happened. And then also, uh, I always try to have tea, like taking a good, length of time to make
Mhm.
tea on my own, or like share tea with my husband and then take a moment to have a conversation, or just I sometimes perform direct just on my own with no one around, and then it really calms me down. So tea really helps because
Yeah.
it's such a meditative moment even for
Yep.
me, and then I think it's for everyone too. So
Yeah.
whenever I feel frustrated or down from time to time while doing this business, tea really helps. And then talking to my husband or tea friends really help too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there one thing that you want people to know about Soocha Tea?
One thing that, like, as you can see here, we import and introduce fresh premium tea from Korea. So when we say fresh and premium, it's really fresh and premium. So um, even since I was planning to launch my business specializing in Korean tea, I felt like I still think that I'm a representative to Korean tea, Korean people, Korean culture. So I strongly think that it's my duty and responsibility to introduce real good tea to people and good Korean culture and
Yeah.
share my knowledge and information about Korean tea. So yeah, like while I'm in Canada, I always order tea from Korea and then taste a lot of different teas. And before going to Korea, like since the pandemic started, we haven't been able to visit Korea, even though we used to visit Korea every single year. So
Oh,
I'm
wow.
so sad to miss those times. But
Yeah.
yeah, before going to Korea, I always order tea beforehand and ship it to my parents' place. So as soon as I arrive, I taste another tea. And then while we are in Korea, I always meet tea masters and visit their tea farms or visit tea houses to see the trend and like what kind of tea people drink these days. And that really, yeah, helps me to source really good tea.
For anyone who's first trying Soocha Tea, what's the bestseller? Which tea do you recommend for
Our
them to
bestsellers,
try?
um, Ujan is always the first tea that is sold out.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so yeah, it is highly appreciated and loved by so many people. And but you know, you know about Ujan, it's limited quantity even from
Yes.
Korea. So when it's sold
True.
out, even though I try to have enough stock, sometimes it's sold out in Korea, so I cannot restock them. So sometimes it's sold out for a few months, but yeah, it's always the first tea, selling out. And also 발효차, I
Mm.
love 발효차 too. And then people are amazed and fascinated by 발효차 a lot because they never tried 발효차 before in their life, right? Especially if we are not from Korea. So yeah, and then we used to carry only loose leaf 발효차, but recently, a few months ago, I also released a 발효차 powder. So it's easy to make lattes and different drinks or like easy to use for your baked goods. So
Yeah.
yeah, 발효차 is one of our best sellers, definitely. And some customers always ask me like, oh, what would you recommend non-caffeine tea? Because I would like to drink tea even in the evening, but I cannot if it has caffeine. So they really love our mistletoe tea. Yeah, it has very comforting, like sweet aroma and flavors. So it is good both hot and cold. And then like I have so many customers who buy a lot of bags of tea, a lot
Oh,
of bags of mistletoe tea at one time. Yeah.
nice.
So those three are our top sellers.
What is mistletoe in Korean? What's mistletoe?
겨우살이.
겨울살이.
Yes. Mm.
Oh,
So mistletoe here is not the mistletoe tree you kiss under, for Christmas time. It's totally different. Like, yeah. So, yeah, some people ask me the question, like that kind of question too, when they are interested in mistletoe. So is it toxic or something? But it's not. Like it has been enjoyed and loved for centuries in Korea,
yeah.
and like there are specific type of tree where you can get mistletoe. It is not all like from all types of trees. So
Mm,
only like oak tree and other types of tea. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah. For people interested in learning more about Korean tea, how could you share like how you learn about Korean tea? Like, is there a good resource they can go to other than we know your first course as well? Oh, how about you
This kind
yourself?
of festival.
Yeah.
This is the best place you can learn because I saw the programs and then all the guests in the list, and then you have wonderful program where you can get to know more about Korean tea. This kind of online festival, like you don't need to be in that real physical location. You can
Yeah.
enjoy from all around the world. And also like unfortunately there are not many tea books that covers Korean tea, right?
Yeah.
But if you attend this kind of online festival or online workshop, you can also learn and taste. My online workshop is always offer tea, and so you register and then you pay for the workshop, and then you will receive different teas, and then you
Yeah.
will attend the workshop. So that kind of online workshop you can also attend. And there are also many books, I mean, in Korean, written in Korean,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So, but like the Korean way of tea, the book is
Yeah.
also very good introductory guide. And yeah, I think
Yeah. Eric,
since
the
the
next.
pandemic, yeah,
Yeah.
like this kind of festival is the best place.
Yeah, the book we've mentioned, Eric and I, we both talked about that book while we were
Yes,
talking. That book's
yeah,
good.
like it's such a great book for like beginners when it comes
Yes,
to Korean tea. Yes.
really true. For anyone who's interested in starting their own online tea business, could you share a brief tip for them to maybe they are want to do it, but maybe they hesitant? Like,
Mm.
what could you share advice for them?
Um, like my tea company is not a brick and mortar store on the street, but and then it's online tea shop based in Toronto. And then it might require less paperwork or other work to be done than brick and mortar stores. But also there are many paperwork you have to get done before you launch your business, even though it's online.
Yeah.
So in Canada, like when it comes to the kind of process of like launching your online tea shop, you first you have to register your business and business name with the government, and get you need to get business identification number, and
Yep.
also you have to get import and export number from the government. And also because tea is a food product, so you have to read thoroughly all kinds of laws and regulations, and you have to comply with those policies and regulations. And you need to get a food handler certification in Canada and food license too. And also, depending on your annual sale,
Yeah.
you also need to register for GST and HST. GST is goods and sales tax, and
Yep.
HST is harmonized sales tax. So Ontario province, where Toronto is one of the HST participating provinces. So when you are registered for GST and HST, you also have to contact another province that are not participating just in HST. And then, so those provinces such as British Columbia,
Yeah.
Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Quebec, they have their own provincial sales tax called PST, and in
Yeah.
Quebec it's called QST. So
Wow.
so depending on your sale, it's mandatory to register for the kind of tax stuff. And when you are registered, you have to start collecting tax from your customer on eligible items from
Yeah.
each province. And then you also have to report the tax and then submit the tax money to each provincial office or Canada Revenue Agency. So there are many regulations and that you have to read thoroughly and then comply with. But yeah, after that, yeah, everything else is like building on your website or
Yeah.
designing your logo or labels or other things. So yeah, you're good to go. So it
Good
sounds
to
like
go, but
a lot
so
of
much
work.
work.
Yeah. So it took me a few months, like 4 or 5 months to figure things out.
I
But
bet.
yeah, but luckily, my family and then my in-law families also help me and support my business. So my
Yeah.
husband is always great assistant for my business, and my sister takes care of my accounting system, and then my mother-in-law is an accountant, so she takes
Oh,
care of my tax stuff. So yeah, I get a lot of good advice about doing this business too. So yeah, I'm so lucky.
yes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
have the
so
perfect environment to start a online business.
yeah. Yeah, but it sounds like a lot of paperwork. but when you figure out like things one by one, yeah, like because as a business owner, I think that you have to know every single thing.
Yeah.
So like even though you have other like a lot of employees, you are the first person who has to know about everything, right?
True.
So yeah, it is mandatory, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for sharing. I bet that's a really good advice for people who are in Canada and
Ah,
interested in starting a online tea business. I
hopefully it
know you
helps.
have a I know you have other upcoming plans. What's coming up soon for you with
Oh,
Sucha?
I've been hosting the Soocha Tea and Friends online tea talk event. And then 2 days ago, I got one done with Shuichi, the Toronto-based Japanese kintsugi artist.
Mm.
And then I've got great feedback. And really people enjoyed the session. And
Yeah.
next month, because it's online monthly event, so next
Yeah.
month, I'm going to invite Francois from Hojicha Co., the Hojicha company that specializes in Japanese Hojicha. And like many people show me, they are so interested already. So yeah,
Nice.
I'm so excited to have that one. And also, I've been offering online workshop about Korean tea.
Yep.
And the next one is about mugwort and barucha, where you can taste mugwort loose leaf, mugwort powder,
I
barucha
love
loose leaf,
mugwort.
and pardon?
I love mugwort.
Yeah, I saw that you love that one, like from your
Yeah.
Instagram. Yeah. So like the workshop is unfortunately it is for only Canadian and US residents because that's two countries we ship our tea. So um if you are living in Canada or in the States, you can register for the workshop and it'll be the end of August and the registration will be open maybe at the end of this month. And then, yeah, if you're in Canada or in the States, you can register. And for the tea event, the tea talk with Hoji Chako is August 19th, Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So if you are interested, because it's a free event and donation is just optional and voluntary, so you can join the event and then enjoy
Oh,
the talk between me and Hoji Chako.
lovely. Many exciting tea events are coming up for Sucha Tea, so stay tuned. You can go to Strati's website and Instagram. We've already shared the username. And we're gonna go into Q&A directly. We have
Okay.
about 4 to 5 minutes. I'm currently looking into Facebook. If you have any question for Sue, please feel free to write in the comment. And then I will ask. Minji Kim said like, from the previous talk said, oh, pickled tea leaves, that sounds interesting.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you. What did you say?
Oh, she was just sharing her response from the previous one. The
Ah,
that pickled we talked about pickled tea leaves, and then
ah,
Minnie said, "Oh, that sounds interesting."
like Korean barbecue is world famous now. Like we have so many different Korean barbecue restaurants in Toronto too.
Yeah,
But
never knew.
yeah, really, it's the same. So when you have Korean barbecue, we always have it with some, right? Like
Yeah.
wrapping with lettuce or sesame leaf. So I also pickle radish with tea leaves. I use sejak, and then you can also eat the leaves from the pickle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then radish together, and then it is so good. Please try that. And then I've been share. I not on the website I have been sharing, but yeah, like making pickle is very simple. Yeah, so yeah, you can easily make tea pickle only with tea or sometimes with other vegetables, like whatever you want to.
How do you make it?
Like you need to remember the ratio, like because it depends on like how big your jar is.
Yeah.
So what two water, one vinegar, one sugar, and a pinch of salt. So boil it together with tea leaves, and then when it starts boiling, oh, you before that you have to prepare the chopped vegetable in the glass jar first, and
Yep.
then when the mixture boils, pour it into the jar and then close it, and then leave it at room temperature for like 2 to 3 days. And then after that, refrigerate it for another 2 to 3 days. And then you can enjoy it.
Oh, it's literally same as making other pickle. Like
Yes, yes.
양파장, it's the
Yeah.
same. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks
So
for
it's
sharing.
very simple and easy.
I haven't tried. I'm gonna try.
Oh, yeah. Oh, many people actually, when they learn that recipe from my workshop, they tried and then they got back to me and then like they gave me great feedback. So thank you
Oh,
for letting me know about the recipe. Yeah. So
your
please
best
try
said
that.
sounds delicious, making me hungry. We'll try. Thank you. And we had a question from Kura. What was the name of the book you were both talking about? I always remember the cover, but don't remember the exact title. What was the name? The
The
Way of
Korean way of tea. Oh, actually, just in case I prepare like this one. So this one.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
The Korean way of tea. And
Kura
actually another, it's written in English. So if you are English speaker, if you speak English, you can do that. And then there's another, my recommendation. This is
I like
tea
that.
book. Yeah, it's written by Linda Gaylord, and then she's one of my friends in Toronto. And then it has been published in, as far as I know, 16 countries, like 16 different languages. So it, you can see the first page, Korean tea. You're seeing, right? Yes. So, and then I told you before that not many tea book written in English covers about Korean tea, but it covers about Korean tea. So yeah, it's also good tea you can read and then figure out about Korean tea too.
Lovely. Thank you so much for today joining for interview and sharing delicious tips and really informative tips. And we look forward to seeing you as well. And we look forward to joining your events as well. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
today.
Thank you really for hosting this beautiful event and thank you for having me. I'm so happy. And then I will be staying till the end. Even though it'll be 4 a.m. here, I will.
Lovely.
Yeah, I'll
Thank
be
you.
staying. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Have a nice
감사합니다.
day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.